right, this is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of The Source of the Inkwell, live on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. You can check out this broadcast a couple of ways. You can go to KUAW.org, click Listen Now. You can also go to KUAW. I'm sorry, you can go to the TuneIn app on your mobile device and type in KUAW, and we'll pop right up as well. If you want to actually see this broadcast as well as listen to it, you can go to KUAW-LPFM 98.5 on Facebook for the live feed, or on YouTube, type in KUAW. All right. Type in KUAW, and you should see the live link. If you want to call in, go to 816-599-6893. And if you want to email us, go to KUAW985@gmail.com. Please call in or comment on our live feed, because we do love the feedback and we love interacting with our guests. Now, this is the RMS Radio edition of KUAW, The Source of the Inkwell. RMS Radio is a show that airs once a month at Raytown Middle School. These young ladies in front of us work very hard and very diligently every month to bring you all a very good, well-impact educational show. I'm very proud of this group because they are learning very, very fast. Also, I do want to say that this is my last broadcast, because for about a good month I'll be gone for track. So good thing about it is I do have subs coming in to cover for me. Who knows? Maybe RMS Radio might come in and cover for me while I'm gone as well. Ladies, how you doing this evening?
Good.
Good. Now let's go around the corner and announce who we all are, so everyone can know who we are.
I am Ryan Dow.
I'm Tiffany Mitchell.
I'm Kendall Ranella.
I'm Audrey Noland.
All right. Thank you all for coming in. This is their spring break. So these young ladies said, look, we can come in and do a show on spring break. See, while everyone else is vacationing, they're in here working. And hard work does pay off, because maybe, hopefully, you will see these young ladies with their own show soon. How's that sound? All right. Your excitement just enthuses me. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get this party started off right. Tiffany, you can go ahead and start us off on the first edition.
Yes, sir. Right now, I'm going to have my topic, and that is how to take control of your life. First thing is to accept failure, because without that, you wouldn't learn from your mistakes. How do you guys feel about that?
I just agree with it. I agree with it. Like 100%.
All right, how so?
I mean, failure, I feel like it always just makes you feel, not exactly feel better about yourself, but you can bounce back from that and it'll make you stronger.
I agree with that statement, because a lot of people don't do things because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid of messing up and disappointment. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, if you learn to not do something because you messed up once, you'll learn from that and not do it again.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that also, because if you have so much success, you won't know how to take failure, and sometimes the success is taking failure, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And failure can teach you, and it can make you better in the scheme of things. So yeah.
And if not, you can't know, like, you don't know how to take failure, like, things might become too much for you, and like, terrible things that might affect your physical and mental health, and things that you can't really help, and it'll get worse in your life.
Yeah.
Another thing is just to say no. So when you're in situations that people are asking you things that are way, like, too serious, or like just like one simple thing, like, it's your choice. It's your choice to have what your opinion is, or like what you say on doing things. So just, it doesn't matter if it's a bad thing or a good thing, just say what you feel.
I like that you brought that up, because a lot of young girls, I feel like, don't know how to say no. And I feel like people will take advantage of them, because when they realize they can't say no. Like, I have friends who can't say no, and like it scares me to think, like, what happened, like what if, like, something happens to them, because they can't say no. Like, they don't know how to tell someone just to say, like, stop.
And having the feeling to say yes every time that people ask you something is a bad thing, like, again, mentally and physically, because once you start doing it, your brain starts to process as, so every time I say yes, it's okay to say yes, because that's what I'm used to. So, anything you guys want to add on to that?
No.
Here's a quote that I found on the internet. No one has power over you unless you give it to them. You are in control of your life and your choices. Decide your own fate. Quoted by someone. What do you guys think about that?
I agree completely with that.
It makes a lot of sense. It's logical.
And
Just the awkward silence.
Yeah. But yeah, that quote really spoke out to me because, like it said, no one has power over you unless you give it to them. Like, you give them power, and that, like, makes them think, okay, since I have this power, I'm going to abuse it, and I'm going to make them do things that they know is wrong, but they probably should do or something.
Kind of like bullies.
Yeah.
Once you give them attention, once you show that you're affected by what they do, they'll keep on doing it because you've shown them that you will give them that power.
Right. I also see that with, like, it could be like friendships or something like that. Like a friend can be controlling over you, and you can only do that unless you like, no.
Right. Which goes back to saying the whole
no
thing.
Yeah.
And adults and kids do feel this way, and like they go through this through their everyday lives, and it's something that we really need to talk about more, to bring out into the light, and just to let people know it's okay to say no. And sometimes it's okay to say yes, but don't do it every time that something happens.
It's unhealthy to always say no, and also unhealthy to always say yes. You need to have a good balance of both.
Life can be challenging for kids and adults, of course, and to have knowledge or perseverance to wake up one day and say, I can do this, like, that's, like, something you should do every day. And when you're doing that around people, that can have an effect in saying, like, hey, since that person had enough courage to do whatever they need to do in their everyday lives, like, no matter how tough it is, like, they can still get through it. And to end this topic, I have one more quote for the viewers and listeners to think about. Don't get too deep. It leads to overthinking, and overthinking leads to problems that doesn't even exist in the first place. Quoted by Jason and Gay. Next topic.
I'm doing entertainment, and I will be listing some of the Grammy winners. So the winners for Album of the Year is Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino. Record of the Year is Redbone by Childish Gambino also. Song of the Year is That's What I Like by Bruno Mars. The best new artist is Alessia Cara.
Okay, yeah.
And the best pop solo performance is Shape of You by Ed Sheeran.
Oh yeah.
Best pop group is performance actually is Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. Best pop album is Divide by Ed Sheeran. And I have a question for all of you. Out of all the 2018 songs, just not the ones on this list, which ones do you like the most from 2018? I mean,
I'm gonna pop in here and just say I'm actually really happy that Alessia Cara won because she's one of my favorite artists. I absolutely love all of her songs. And if they come on, I'm gonna be dancing. Like, they just get me in a really good mood because I feel like her songs actually say a message. They actually say something.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
They talk about real world problems and not just, it's not
They
just
have
about
powerful
the beat,
topics.
It's about like the lyrics.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I can't think of any 2018 songs, but one of them is, well, it had to be probably Summer by, what's his name? Childish Gambino. Yeah, I like that. It gives off a really good vibe for me. And yeah, I just like that song.
Well, I feel like mine honestly wouldn't be any of the ones on the radio. Because there was a lot of songs that I fell in love with that were just like other ones on the albums.
Right.
Like
More of the rare ones.
Like what is it called? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Get Well Soon by Ariana Grande. I love that one. And it's not known by anyone, but it was very good. Anyways.
Okay, well, that's all. That's actually all I have.
Well, did you say what your favorite song is?
Yeah, Yeah. What was your first one from 2018?
Probably any of Ed Sheeran's songs.
Mm.
Ed Sheeran is just awesome.
Ed Sheeran is growing pretty big. I remember when he first started out.
Yeah.
Back in my day. No.
Hold on.
Yeah. But yeah, 2018 songs like, isn't Baby Shark one of them?
Oh my
no.
No.
Let's not bring that up.
Bring that up.
Alright,
No.
No.
Can I throw a question out there?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What songs or what artists or what albums do you think was overlooked? Because Drake did make a good point before they cut his microphone off. He said that just because you win a Grammy or win an award like that doesn't really signify that you're the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so don't let that judge you. So starting with you, Audrey, I know this is you're the expert in this area. Is there anyone that you felt was overlooked?
I don't really know. No, not really.
Okay, so you think it's pretty across the board?
Yeah.
So is there anyone that you would have liked to have seen win a Grammy?
No.
No? Okay, so you're pretty satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I don't know.
I feel like several artists were very overlooked. Me and my mom have started listening to Avril Lavigne's new CD, which is actually really good, and like you never hear anything about her. Or, I mean, Alessia Cara, like she had like a few big songs,
Right.
Oh yeah.
but then she like no one's talked about her new album, or a lot of the other songs that were on her old
Or
album
like
that were really good.
when you talk about her, you think of the Moana song.
Yes.
Okay. Did you all watch the Academy Awards, the Oscars?
I watched like half of it.
Half
I
of
didn't
it.
watch any of it.
No one watched the Academy Awards? No? Yes, no?
Kinda.
Kinda.
I looked over it and then I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me throw this question out. With award shows like your Grammys and your, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Philip Michael Thomas again because I kind of backed on him last week. Philip Michael Thomas coined the phrase EGOT. It's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, and he says he's gonna be the first one to win it. And we all know that Philip Michael Thomas was on Miami Vice, but I don't think his acting skills was that good. But there are some people that actually won these awards, and the majority of these awards are based off some type of criteria. Do you think the criteria needs to change based on how we view someone who's the best at acting or the best at singing?
Yes.
Yeah.
How so? I mean, if you had your way to redo the criteria, what would it look like? Because I know you all talked about Teacher of the Year, and you all said that you think student input should be involved, which is fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we did change that, I still think the gentleman that won our school still would have won because he's. But do you think the criteria should change in regards to how we select who wins awards
No.
in music? You don't think so? Defend your answer.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's pretty good now because, like, don't the actual people get to vote on what they want?
Sometimes.
Depends.
I think.
I mean-
Depends, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really, I don't really know how they vote, but I don't know.
I think it should change because if someone that's already like a well-known actor or well-known singer, everyone already knows them and likes their music. So normally, if they see someone they already know and like, I would feel like most of them would pick them instead of like if this other person might be a better singer or actor, but not as well known, so they wouldn't get picked as much. It's all of like I know you more, I like what you do more, so I'm gonna pick you.
I agree.
Hey, it's all about the money and fame.
You're right.
That's basically what people are doing now.
Yeah.
It's like they can get this big deal just because they're like famous.
Right. If a person is publicized more, whether it be because they are great at something or just because, there's a lot of drama around the person and or just because they have a ton of followers on, this and that.
What are you talking about?
Whether it is that,
This is Kim Kardashian.
most of the time the people that are more famous or more publicized for whatever reason it is get picked for the awards, and you're
Right.
just like,
And that really needs to be changed.
it doesn't matter. You could have a terrible voice and you could get a Grammy,
Right.
or
Yeah.
your song could make no sense, and you win over the person who has this meaningful, amazing
Exactly.
song with that
Because
ton
you
of
have more
talent.
money or you're more publicized.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing in school districts. Like, if a daughter or son is part of, like, a community with the school, like, what was it? Like, last year, there's, like, a school play at my sister's high school, and one of the girls who couldn't sing,
Oh no.
couldn't act,
Mm.
but she got the role, like, the lead role. And it's something that we really need to think about, like, why is she up there? Like, did you pay her? Like, did you pay someone
What were you
to get up
thinking?
there? Like, what were you thinking? Like, that's something that is really not okay, because there is so many people out there with so much potential and who can, like, blow the stage, or, like, who can sing, and they're stuck at the back row singing background. Like,
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
lot.
That's kind of like, you part of Jackson 5 and Michael's always singing, you know.
Mm.
I agree, because there is one actor, you all know who I'm talking about too if you've been in my class, my favorite actor. And if I ever ran for president, he's
Okay.
going to be my running mate, Samuel L. Jackson.
Mhm.
Why has Samuel L. Jackson he's been in more movies than anybody, and he has
Oh, yeah.
not won an Oscar yet, and I got a problem with that. Sam Jackson, I'm pulling for you, man. And when Sam Jackson wins that Oscar, I'm going to take off a whole week to celebrate. Sam Jackson made me the man I am today. No, I'm lying. A little bit. So, okay, let's pretend that that we can change the criteria. Okay, let's say that we are the deciding. Well, you are, not me, but you all are the deciding party. All right. I'm gonna just throw out some categories, and you all tell me who you think should be glorified in that particular category. Sound fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, let's think about best. If someone were to ask you best female artist, period.
Best female
Yeah.
artist?
And
Yeah,
well,
That's so hard.
right,
So-
and that's the point.
It shouldn't just be up to one single group on
Right.
who's the best singer. We all have different opinions.
And
So
that's
we
exactly
want
how
to
they
say-
decide in the Grammys and the Oscars. You
I
have
don't think that.
yeah.
It's
I
just-
don't think that there
Welcome to
should
being an
even be
adult.
things as who is the best of the best, because
Right.
it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
People are
They're all great in their own
loved
ways.
for different reasons, and people have fans for different reasons. And I mean, I honestly don't think it should be a thing.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
We have so many artists like Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande. Not even like females, for instance, like just men, like who, because back then men didn't really sing as much. Like they did, because they were like jazz and just like different types of like music. And like now, like since it's like elevated more, like men are really coming out to say, like, even though girls can sing, it's like switched over. Like girls can sing too, and we can do all this preppy stuff. Like, hey, guys can do the same thing. Like we're all equal and all that stuff. And like singing, you can't categorize that, because there's so many people with beautiful voices, and like they all
Yes.
can do their part.
And you all just fell into my trap.
Aw.
What is up with
What trap?
Yeah, you just proved my point.
Oh.
One
Oh.
group of people cannot determine who's the best for everyone. It's inconceivable. It's improbable.
Even
You,
if
you,
the
you all,
whole
you,
world
you all
recognized it.
just proved my point. You all just said, hey, we can't do that. I mean, no. Now, Mr. Tyson made a good point. He said, I wish both were decided by voting from listeners and viewers, like how they kind of do American Idol. But yeah, I mean, you got to get all of them in there. You know, the record, I mean, it needs to be as diverse as possible. You got your record executives, you got your listeners, I mean, it needs to be more buy-in from the people. And I think what Drake was trying to say was, the more and more you pull the people away, the more and more decisions to be made that does not reflect the people. Like Cardi B, I'm just saying. I'm sorry. You know,
You're good.
for an example.
sorry.
I mean, all my Cardi B fans out there, I'm just, just playing. It's radio. Take it personal. But yeah, so yeah, you all just proved the point that, I mean, when I asked you all that question, you couldn't. Well, I shouldn't say you couldn't. You wouldn't make the choice because it was
Right.
not fair. because there's so many different genres out there. There's so many different factors.
So much
You know.
more voices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, like, what signifies the best? Now, is it fair to ask you what you think the best is in your opinion? What's one thing should be judged for best? If you could put in the criteria.
See, for me, it's not.
Hold on, wait a minute. Sir, over here.
I don't really think you should judge them.
So you think music shouldn't be judged at all?
Yeah, I mean, like, not judge, but like, if you're gonna judge it, at least judge it in a good manner.
Mm.
And like saying who's like the best and who's the worst, that's just not fair.
Mm. It's like kind of disrespectful too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I like that. What do you think, Kendall?
I agree with her point. If there was any way, there was one criteria that something should be based on, I can even choose one, because a song has so much in it. It's not just the person who sings the song, it's the person who produced the song, and the person who, helped to write the song, and the person who supported the person who did all this thing. And you can't, I completely agree with her right there.
Again, I agree with you. Like all of you. It's like piggybacking on what you said. Like, it's not just like one person who like it's all me. I get all the fame. Like, you'd made it, but it's my fame. Like, it's everyone who can like put it all together, and like you did it together. Like, we won this. Like, whenever you see people like go up and get their reward, and it's like, hey, I thank you, everyone who's been helping me. It's everyone's trophy. Like, that's what they won because they worked together instead of claiming it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't say. I don't want to just repeat what they said.
But you agree with everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree too. I mean, I think music is art, and one thing people fail to realize with artists is when we produce something, it's like an extension of us. And
Right.
I don't want you judging what I do. It's like somebody judging our kids. Judging you based on what your kids. It's a very, very slippery slope that I think that they might want to look at how they do the categorizing, because I agree with Mr. Tyson here. He said Samuel L. Jackson should have won for Time to Kill. I'm gonna tell you right now, when Samuel L. Jackson wins that Oscar, I'm gonna get him a personal one made with a hat on him, like how he be wearing it, cause yeah. I think maybe if he's up. Oh, wait a minute. Let me call it again. I think one criteria in music should be that you can understand the lyrics, which.
Yes.
Yes, definitely understanding the lyrics. Yeah. Music is language too.
Yeah.
It's universal language.
Yeah, and it's scary getting yourself out there because, like you said, it's an extension of you. If they don't like your creation, that's almost like saying they don't like you.
Yeah, and I think music is like one of those bonding elements. Well, really, art is a element that ties people together. Like food is one.
Right.
Sitting down and sharing a meal with someone. Art, music is one. I mean, it's like universal. It's like the universal language. And I mean, I think like and I know this guy's getting a lot of flack right now, but we're not talking about all that. Michael Jackson's music. You can play a Michael Jackson song anywhere in the world, and you got a reaction. Probably the same reaction you get here over in Zimbabwe, which is the same one over in Tokyo, which is the same one over in Ireland.
Right.
Shout out to Maganya and Johnson being in Ireland. But yeah, so that's music is universal. So that's just my little opinion about that, but not. Yeah. Okay. Y'all want to take a little break?
Sure.
All right. We're gonna take a small break, and we'll be right back. Facebook Live, stay with us. Radio Land, listen to these commercial breaks.
My eyes started watering up. I don't know.
And we're back. This is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of The Source of the Inkwell on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. KUAW is Kansas City's global community radio station. We are bringing you the best local information on artists, news, talk, and music. You can listen to this broadcast a number of ways. You can go to KUAW.org, as well as going to KUAW on your TuneIn app on your mobile device. You can also listen and watch this broadcast on Facebook Live. You can go to KUAW-LPFM 98.5 on Facebook or on YouTube. Type in KUAW and we'll be right there as well. You can also call in at 816-599-6893. And also, you can always donate. KUAW is always looking for wonderful donations to keep shows like this one and the ones that it represents going. The young ladies you see in front of me right now represent RMS Radio. RMS Radio is a radio broadcast that is from Raytown Middle School. They are one of the only schools in the area with their own radio show. So shout out to you young ladies for that. The previous half of the section of the hour was devoted to entertainment conversation and debate in regards to how we acknowledge those who are the quote-unquote best in their genre. That was led by Miss Audrey Nolan. And also we had a roundtable talk that was led by Miss Tiffany Mitchell. So now we're going to transition to the second half of our hour. Who's going to take the baton first?
Do you want to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors?
I'll go first.
All right. And introduce who you are so we all...
Alright, I am Ryan Dowd.
Oh, I'm Tiffany Mitchell.
I'm Kendall Ranella.
I'm Audrey Noland.
Alright, and I want to ask you all a question, alright?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think violence in the community affects violence in schools?
School is a community.
Well, how I think that affects our community is like just seeing things outside of our school can bring that inside that stuff and like mess up our educational purposes and like
Improvers and drama.
Right. I see it as, if kids in a school are seeing violence outside of their school, they will probably bring it in, and they will probably take the things that they've learned or they've seen in the community and bring that. It's like an inherited, like, well, I see this, so why don't I do it? Or it's even like in movies, like, I see this in a movie, and so I'm going to do
TV
it.
shows.
And it's not, maybe
Video
you're not
games,
subconsciously thinking, I'm going to do that because the movie said I should do it. But, I mean, it's something that can happen. You can be influenced without your knowledge. So.
Yeah, like, I totally agree with her. Like, you see something, like, let's say there's drama on, like, Instagram or something. You will bring that to school, and I see it a lot. They bring it to school, and then something bad happens, and they ended up getting, like, ISS or something. So.
The reason I brought this up is because you see a lot of violence in school, but you may not see it in your community or like your specific area of where you live. There's a lot of violence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always people getting in fights, always people, doing bad things. And when a child is put into that situation, I feel like they're going to mimic it. They're gonna mimic it because children are very moldable. When they see something, they absorb it and they see it as okay, and then they duplicate it and repeat the situation.
Right. I feel like to a point they do that. Some children do, like, and you see it all the time. They mimic what their parents do, or they mimic what their family members do, or how they are. But I feel like once you get to a certain point, other people can influence you more. Like, if you have a great, say, teacher or a friend or something that can influence you and be like, hey, like, what you're doing and what they're doing, you don't have to do that. You can be your own person, but it does influence you the way that your community is or your way that your family is. And,
All right, so I have one question. Okay, so how do you feel about social media interacting with school? Like, how does it affect the school?
it affects it very badly. And like,
You think so?
yes, because a lot of drama happens there. They carry it to school. And they don't focus on school at that
Right.
point. And then they focus on like who's doing what,
Mm-hmm.
who's wearing what.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you in that sense because I agree with you and disagree with you because yes, a lot of drama starts online. But if you think about it, a lot of drama starts in school too.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
Mhm.
she said this, she said about this. You know,
Rumors.
Right. There's always these rumors, and some people know how to ignore them and just like cut them out, and some people don't.
Mhm.
They let them control their lives, and like, oh, it's just about this. Screw school. It's only about this. And
Yeah, I slightly disagree with bringing violence onto like whatever you said with like violence overall, but
Yeah.
just for again educational purposes, it's not always violence and overall just bad stuff because that depends on who you follow first of all.
Right,
That
right.
depends
Yeah.
on who you're looking at because they're doing their own thing. You, on the other hand, you need
have the
to
choice.
yeah, you have your choice to either look at what they're doing or
Don't make friends with the wrong people.
Yeah.
right.
Right. I can see the positives and I can see the negatives. I'm seeing what
Yeah.
you all are seeing and saying too, but I found, the people that I follow on social media or whatever, they are always like very positive
Mhm.
or like it is another way to cultivate your friendships or to keep in touch. And I mean, if it's used for that purpose, I don't see a problem with it. But a lot of the time it isn't.
Right.
So it just depends on how you look at it.
I feel like social media can be a really good thing. That's how people meet each other. That's how friends keep in touch. That's how you meet up to go hang out. But in the sense of drama, because I know I'm repeating this word a lot, but that's because there's a lot of it. Everywhere you turn, when you're this age or older, there's always drama. No matter where you go, there's always drama.
It's just whether you put yourself in that situation. Me personally, I try to just like
Stay
if
out of it.
if I'm gonna be on something, I'm gonna be, like no, do not involve me in your drama. I do
No.
not care. Please leave me out of it, and I will live my own life.
It's
and
a
I'll be
lot of
happy.
stress because what if you're doing a sport, right? You're dealing with sport, home, school, friends,
And then
drama on top of it. I feel like our lives are in pie charts. You know what I mean? At this age, school needs to take up the majority of that pie chart. And I feel like that's just not how it is. I feel like friends and your boyfriend and your drama is always the majority of your pie chart.
I totally agree with that. Totally. Because nowadays it's just like you said, girlfriend and boyfriend, and then like you said, who's doing this, who's doing that. Like honestly, we just need to
Chill out.
chill out. Like
I was thinking
nothing's
that
going
seriously,
on with
chill
you.
out.
Just like learn, go home, bring your family high, spend time with them, and then just do what you need to do on the internet instead of just like looking at drama, continuing to spread that drama.
Right.
Because people do that too. And
Or it's those people who thrive off of drama. They start drama for no reason. I know. It's like
Spreads fast too, man.
It's like you get the medicine and you stop it, or you just let it infest and then you spread it to other people. There you go.
And so I honestly try and cut those people out in my life because
Right.
they're toxic and I don't need all that drama. Like every time, it's like, did you hear what this so and so said about so and so? I'm like, dude, chill. More silence awkward.
we're gonna go ahead and our next topic.
Okay, so
Kendall.
my topic is going to be talking about community news. So, due to lower enrollment rates in the Raytown School District, there was a major budget cut, which means that the upcoming school year there is approximately I think it was $1.7 million. Because of this, Raytown schools are cutting all of their Title I instructional assistants, which basically help kids who need additional assistance or help in school. And though they're cutting them for now, they do plan to gain back funds to get them back in the future. And I think they're trying to do this by implementing and making changes to their reading program. So I was just wondering, like, have you guys heard about this? Do you think, like, that they're doing the right thing for now, or do you think that they could have done something differently, or what do you guys think about the whole situation?
I think they should have done something differently instead of just cutting that out. Like, that's adding more onto the things that they need to work on. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to do that. Like, if Raytown is a place where, like, a lot of things have, like, built up from there, and then, like, things have gone on to, like, people have come here, like, for instance, Walt Disney, he's come here, and then he just spread his wings and flew away. And, like, going back to that, just cutting things from what we need to build on our own support, like, that's something that I think, in my opinion, we shouldn't do.
I mean, I wouldn't argue that if they needed to, they could lower the costs. Like, you know, not give as much. But cutting it entirely, I think, was a bad decision.
I feel like they could have kept them, but maybe just make the parents or something like that charge. If that makes any sense, because without having them at all, they don't have that option.
Right.
And I mean, if you don't have the money, then that's not really an option anyways. But
it, like, hurts the kids in general. It hurts the kids that need it.
Yeah. We keep going inside.
I don't like this budget cut thing. I don't like this budget cut thing, and I don't see why they would cut the budgets, and, like, I just don't see why you would do that.
It's enrollment decline, so they had to.
I know, but, like, cutting it off completely is just, I mean, you could cut it down a bit, but just cutting off completely, like she said, just no.
I understand why they cut it off, and I understand why they thought they needed to cut it off. But I don't feel like that was the best decision to make.
So you're thinking something else could have happened.
Yeah.
And to kind of get you in on some background information, Kendall keeps repeating the enrollment piece. Schools make money based on attendance.
Right.
So the more you're in school, the more money that school district or that school building makes. So it's very important that enrollment is where it needs to be.
If enrollment decline continues, which on the article I was reading, it said that right now the senior class has the most amount of people, and the kindergarten class has the smallest amount of people in the district. So I was gonna ask you guys, if this decline continues, what do you think will be next for our district? Like, do you think they'll cut more, or do you think that what do you think there's gonna happen?
I honestly think they're probably going to cut more. We have, at least our school we have a lot of after-school activities. We have several sports, we have several clubs, we have several, right now there's a play going on, and we're spending a lot of money on that. As far as we know, I honestly don't think that they'd cut sports first. If anything, they would cut sports last, if necessary. I feel like the clubs would be the first to go.
Clubs, like what you said, just like this happens in like TV shows also. Like, it's the same thing in real life, and like the first thing they always cut off is entertainment, art, drama, of course, because they're thinking like, oh, who cares about that? Like,
It doesn't represent the school.
Right, it doesn't
That's what they
represent
say.
the school. Like,
They're all about sports.
yeah.
Which you see everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
on TV shows and reality. It always seems like
Sad.
because they think like they can achieve more with just the sports than they can with art club or drama club or like any of those.
And I mean, though that is something that they probably do think about, like, there is a lot of jobs you can get in the arts,
You're right.
Yeah.
and I mean,
It'd be a shame if they did that. I really hope they don't.
That'd be sad.
Because I'm in like half of those, so
got more on that topic?
No, I don't think so.
Because I think what you did, the discussion that you led was something that's different because when you look on the news, you hear the point of view and the perspective from others, but now you're hearing the point of view and the perspective from who's affected the most, and that's the students.
Right.
Just like in a situation in a marriage, okay, the majority of the time, whatever mom and dad's decisions are, the kids are affected the most.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing with the school situation. Whatever goes on with the adults, the kids are always the ones that feel it the most. That's just how it goes. Because it's our job to make sure things are set out in place for you.
Right.
And how it affects you, whether it's negative or positive, is derived from the choices made by adults.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of mixed reviews on this. I'm just glad that students were able to chime in on that because no one really asked what students think. Now, I think a comment was made that kind of segues a slightly other rabbit trail conversation when we talked about what's going to get cut next. We all agreed and said arts. And then Andre, you was like, sports is always last to go. So, why do you think the arts is always the first thing to get cut first?
Oh, because like people feel like everything's just like sports, football, and like stuff like that, and they don't really pay attention to like what drama and all that sort of stuff. You don't see as much drama on TV as you do sports.
And with sports, you can show off your achievements. We all get, like, we have a commons area, and our commons area is where we store our trophies and our plates. And so when our competitors or our other teams come in the building, that's the first thing they see. They don't first see our art achievements. They don't see our drama achievements. No, they first see
Yeah, those are all
our
in that.
sport achievements.
So this kind of goes off what we said earlier. It's like it's easier to judge someone's sport ability, who can get the ball in the pass, all that kind of stuff. But it's harder to judge someone's dramatic ability as well too. So yeah, it's Mr. Tyson made a good point. I get Mr. Tyson on the show. He says we should find out why attendance is going down. Because people have moved out of Breaktown. If so, work on making Breaktown a better place to live to drive enrollment up. So,
Right.
a lot of times, and I'm glad he said that last part, and we have 3 adults in this room right now that can vouch for this. When you go away to college, you're going to see talent gown. That means your school system does not necessarily get along with your city system. And you see a clash. Samuel L. Jackson was in a movie called School Days. In that movie, that scene was very, very relevant. See, learned a lot from Sam Jackson.
You hear a lot of
I'm saying that to say that maybe the school system and the city system needs to work together on this because there's sometimes a divide there in regards to what's what.
I hear a lot of my friends say, "Oh, I'm not gonna go to school because I don't feel like it," and that happens a lot more than you would think.
Right.
A lot of my friends don't come to school because they just don't want to,
That's across the board.
or they don't feel like it. And so I feel like that could also have something to do with it. It's not just one kid who says, "Oh, I don't feel like going to school." No, it's multiple children who are saying, "I just don't feel like going to
Keep in
school."
mind, there's a difference between enrollment and attendance. Attendance means you're actually enrolled and you're there. Enrollment means no one is coming to that particular school.
And it might also,
Sorry, go ahead.
It might also have to deal with like family issues. Like if something happened in the family and you had to stay home for a couple of days, like if your mom was a stay-at-home mom or was like a single person just like working her butt off just to like provide money for you to go to school and like pay for food and like get you there for transportation, like you might have to reverse that rule and take care of her, and that could affect the enrollments also, and that might go for everyone, but everyone has their own story on why they don't go to school.
So, what do you think we could do in our community or town to make it a better place for us to live and to, invite more people here?
I will say this. In our specific area, I see a lot of trash. Maybe, like, okay, normally people go to an area, see if they like it, because if they want to move there. If they see trash everywhere, they're not gonna want to bring their.
It's not a
family
good
and
first
friends.
impression.
Exactly.
Right.
And like, see, I personally live around a lot of woods areas. There's trash dumped there every day, you know, and it just hurts because you don't know who sees that. You know, it's almost embarrassing that
Yeah.
you have to be a part of that environment.
Definitely.
So I feel like if that could have been taken care of, if we could like present the city or our community as nicer and show the true beauty of like the landscape, then I feel like that could help a little bit.
This does. Like, Raytown is a beautiful place.
It is.
As long as you know, if work isn't put into it, it's not going to be seen as that.
Exactly.
If abandoned buildings are there and
Just
no
left
one's
there.
there and it's left there and
Mhm.
it's caught on fire and it's there for 10 years, it's not going to be like, oh, this is a place I want to live.
We have beautiful woods. We have beautiful rocks. We have beautiful like it's a real. It actually. There it is. But it's a really beautiful place, and the fact that it's being covered up by trash kind of hurts.
Potholes.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. So many.
My
Those
mom
need to
gets
be
so
fixed.
Gotta
bad
dodge those
though.
things.
You actually do.
Like,
There, my lane goes like this, and we have to go over into this lane to get off.
Ugh.
It sucks.
Yeah, so you just made a good point. You said that civic issues need to be addressed
Mhm.
because the city needs to do their job.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think it shouldn't be all on one person or on one group. I mean, the city has their job to do. The school system district has their job to do. The parents and families have their jobs to do.
Yeah.
So I think if we all work together,
Right.
this can happen because you're right. Raytown is a beautiful place,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of beautiful people that live in Raytown. Just like any other city, you have a period to where it's like, whoa, is this what I'm used to? You gotta fix it. You gotta clean your problems up.
Right.
I feel like if it's any sort of town or city, it's not going to be 100% perfect. There's
Right.
always a town and city
Mhm.
that's like you said, there's gonna be trash or
Right.
the government's not gonna be that good or anything.
Right. I also see, like, maybe people don't want to fix it up as much as we could just because they feel like, maybe it'd be too much money to do that.
Right.
But at the same time, you'd be getting back a lot of money and you'd get a better rep if you did that because, more people would be moving in.
Right. And it
Right.
wouldn't even have to be about money, people could volunteer, and it wouldn't have to be, oh, we have to get all this trash cleaned up by this time. They could just be like every weekend or something, people would go up and like help out, and I guess filling the potholes could cost money. It'll cost money to like hire a team, get what you need, and do
Yeah,
it.
and that could like really help the community.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we're at our time. I mean, time kind of runs a little fast when you're in here talking some business. But ladies, I'm gonna have to say this is probably one of your better shows. I mean, it flowed without that much of any turbulence. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. I know your parents are, our listeners and viewers are as well too. And you will be seeing more of RMS Radio. Like I said, who knows? Maybe they might come in and sub for me while I'm out. So, ladies, thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for being here. We're going to please thank Dr. May and the school.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We appreciate it.
And we'll see you all soon. This is Tyrone Gathers Jr. in conjunction with RMS Radio and the source of the inkwell. And remember, when you're in the inkwell, knowledge overflows. And when it does, let it stick like ink. Make it permanent. God bless.